Imagine being a teenager, uncertain about the future, sleeping in the back seat of your car because home isn't an option. The world outside is cold, the city lights distant, and your dreams seem even farther away. It's a low that many would find hard to recover from. But for Ronda Rousey, this was just the beginning of a journey that would transform not only her own life, but the world of sports itself. How did a young woman, once homeless and overlooked, become the first female megastar in the Ultimate Fighting Championship? This is the story of grit, resilience, and rewriting history. Ronda Rousey's childhood was marked by both challenge and inspiration. Born in Riverside, California, Ronda faced adversity early on. As a child, she struggled with apraxia, a neurological speech disorder that made verbal communication a daunting task. Her father, Ronda Rousey, was a constant source of encouragement, but tragedy struck when he died by suicide when Ronda was just 8 years old. The loss left a void, and the family's financial situation became increasingly unstable. Ronda's mother, Anne Maria DeMars, a decorated judoka herself, became her guiding force. She introduced Ronda to judo at an early age, teaching her that discipline and hard work could be a way to channel pain into purpose. Ronda trained relentlessly, waking up before dawn to practice, enduring setbacks, injuries, and the pressures of competition. By the time she was 17, Ronda had qualified for the 2004 Athens Olympics, becoming the youngest judoka in the Games. She didn't medal that year, but she refused to give up. 4 years later, at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, she seized her moment, earning a bronze medal, the first American woman to ever do so in judo. But Olympic glory didn't bring the security or recognition many might expect. After the Games, Ronda faced a harsh reality. Judo didn't pay the bills. She worked odd jobs, bartending, waiting tables, even working at a gym. The money was never enough. Eventually, finding herself without a place to stay, Ronda spent nights sleeping in her car, scraping together just enough to get by. Each day, she faced the question: should she give up on her dreams or keep fighting for something more? It was during these difficult years that Ronda discovered mixed martial arts. At the time, women's MMA was on the fringes, dismissed by many as a novelty. There were no women's divisions in the UFC, and mainstream acceptance seemed impossible. But Ronda saw an opportunity. Drawing on her judo background, she began training in MMA, quickly building a reputation for her ferocious armbar submissions and relentless fighting style. In local circuits and smaller promotions, she dominated her opponents, finishing fights in seconds. Her confidence and charisma caught the attention of Strikeforce, one of the leading MMA organizations at the time. Ronda's rise in Strikeforce was meteoric. She became known not just for her quick finishes, but for her unwavering self-belief. She called for bigger fights, bolder challenges, and refused to be ignored. In 2012, she captured the Strikeforce Women's Bantamweight Championship, cementing her status as the best in the world. Her popularity soared, and with it, the conversation about the place of women in MMA began to change. The turning point came when UFC President Dana White, famously skeptical about women's MMA, was compelled to take notice. Ronda's dominance, combined with her marketability, made her impossible to ignore. In 2013, the UFC announced the formation of its first-ever women's division, with Ronda Rousey as its inaugural champion. It was a groundbreaking moment, not just for Ronda, but for all female athletes whose talents had been overlooked for too long. Inside the octagon, Ronda was a force of nature. She won her first 6 UFC fights by first-round armbar, often in under a minute, and defended her title 6 consecutive times. Her intensity, athleticism, and unapologetic confidence made her a household name. She became the face of women's MMA, gracing magazine covers, starring in Hollywood films, and inspiring millions of fans, especially young women who saw in her a model of strength and perseverance. But Ronda's journey wasn't just about victories. It was about challenging expectations, breaking barriers, and refusing to be defined by setbacks. Her first loss in the UFC, a stunning knockout by Holly Holm, was a humbling experience. Critics questioned whether she could recover. But Ronda's story had always been about resilience. She took time away from fighting to heal, both physically and emotionally, and later found new paths, competing in WWE, writing a memoir, and becoming an advocate for mental health and women's empowerment. So, what is the lesson in Ronda Rousey's journey? It's not simply that hard work leads to success, or that talent wins out in the end. It's that true greatness is forged in adversity. When the world told her no, Ronda chose to believe in herself. When doors were closed, she broke them down. She didn't wait for permission. She demanded respect. Her legacy isn't just measured in titles or accolades, but in the opportunities she created for others. She proved that with enough courage and determination, even the most daunting obstacles can become stepping stones. Ronda Rousey's story reminds us that our lowest moments do not define us. It's what we do in response, the choices we make, the risks we take, the belief we hold in ourselves that shapes our destiny. From sleeping in her car to standing atop the world stage, Ronda showed that it's possible to rewrite your story, no matter where you start. Her journey challenges each of us to ask, what would we do if we refused to be limited by our circumstances? How far could we go if we believed, as Ronda did, that anything is possible?